Perfect. Welcome, everyone. We will be starting very shortly, so please bear with us. We'll start in 2 minutes. Thank you. Okay, Brian, Louisa, should we start? Or do you want to wait maybe 2 more minutes?
Let's give it a minute.
Okay, perfect. Let's wait 1 more minute. You can turn on the cameras for now, so we will all be online. Okay, perfect. I think we can start. What do you think? Are we all ready? I think you're muted. Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here today on our exclusive pre-launch webinar of Trebas Institute, our brand new edition of Global University Systems. My name is Sophia, and I'm the Recruitment and Operations Administrator here in Gas Canada Colleges, and I will be your host for today. So if we can go to the next slide. Perfect. So let's go through a quick overview about what we're going to cover on today's webinar. As you can see, we will go through a quick introduction of GAS and our amazing management and business development teams. We will share more information about Canada and Montreal and what makes it one of the best study destinations for your students. We will cover our memberships, student diversity, and career services. We will introduce you to our industry partners and the programs we're currently offering here in Trebas. At the end, we will go through the admission requirements and process and share more information about study permit and visa process. And finally, we'll leave some room for your questions and answer them live. So before we start, I wanted to have a little housekeeping for the webinar. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel, which is usually on the right side of your screen. During the webinar, I will be answering your questions in this chat. Also, at the end of the webinar, we will have more time for questions, and I will present a few of these questions to our presenters. And after the webinar, you can always contact us on partners@trebas.com email, which is also on the slides on the right side. One last thing to add is that a copy of today's presentation is available and attached to the handout section of your GoToWebinar control panel. You can download it anytime. We will also be sharing a recording of the webinar with all the registrants after we finish. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our wonderful presenters for today. Please welcome Luisa Tanzi, our president for Trebas. Hello, Luisa. A McGill University graduate and CPA, Luisa is currently the president of Trebas Institute. For over 20 years, Luisa has been responsible for seamlessly managing all operations for the Montreal and Toronto campuses, while ensuring exceptional educational standards. In addition to her role at Trebas, she is a board member for the ACPNS, as well as Career Colleges Ontario, where she is currently serving in the capacity as of treasurer. Hi, Luisa. So next in line, and our next presenter for today, I would like to introduce Dominique Bellet, Deputy General Manager for Trebas. With a strong events and music industry management background, Dominique quickly became passionate about education. With almost 20 years of experience in the education field, he has held several positions: teacher, program director, director of studies, vice president for academic affairs, and most recently, deputy general manager at Trebas Institute for both Montreal and Toronto campuses. Hello, Dominique.
Hi.
And for our final presenter for today, please welcome Brian Vittilingam. As many of you already know, Brian is the Director of Student Recruitment and Business Development of Gas Canada Colleges Division. Brian has been working with global university systems for over 11 years, driving the global recruitment strategies for multiple institutions in the UK, Canada, USA, and online. In his current capacity, he leads a team of over 22 amazing business developers around the globe. Now, to the next slide, please. Brian will take over and continue with a short introduction about global university systems and our Trebas business development team. Over to you, Brian.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Sophia. Dear partners and friends, ladies and gentlemen, hi everybody from all around the world. I know there's many of you joining us today for this exclusive pre-launch of Trebas Institute. Thank you so much for taking the time joining us and attending the webinar today. My name is Brian, as Sophia rightly mentioned. I've been leading the student recruitment and business development team over the, in Gus Institution for many years. And I'm going to give you a brief introduction. Some of you are very familiar with myself and Gus Canada team, but some of you might not be because you're working around the world with Gus Network. So I just want to give you a brief introduction so we can go through everything afterwards before we jump into Trebas. So Global University Systems, also known as GUS, is an international network of over 30 international higher education institutions brought together by a shared passion for accessible industry-relevant qualifications. GUS delivers a wide variety of programs from ESL, English, bachelor, master's, professional training, and corporate and executive education. From when someone chooses to study at one of our institutions, whether it's on campus in Europe, North America, or even in the comfort of their home, they're joining a network of over 80,000 students worldwide. We are based in some of the world's biggest cities with campuses in London, Birmingham, Manchester, across the Atlantic, in Toronto, Chicago, Vancouver, and now Montreal, and also across the globe in Singapore, Germany, and Israel. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, please. All right, so I'm just going to give you some information about GUS missions and values. To be a leading provider of good value, career-focused education, both degree and non-degree ranging from access to premium, with steadily expanding academic spectrum and a growing presence in major metropolitan areas in the world, as well as online and blended delivery. To enhance value to students, employers, public entities, communities, and to offer collaborative support to universities, colleges in the form of support services and transformational advisory. The GUS Group has the ambition to be the truly global provider known for its highly innovative projects and trendsetting initiatives. Next slide, please. Here are some of the institutions that we have. As mentioned earlier on, we have over 30, a network of over 30 institutions. Already in the UK, we have over 12 institutions, as you can see. You must be very familiar with the University of Law, which is the oldest school of law in the UK. We also have over 5 institutions in Canada, as you can see: University Canada West, Toronto School of Management, the Language Gallery, CCTB, which is known as the Canadian College of Technology and Business, and finally, Trebas Institute. We also have presence in Germany as well, with a university, which is the University of Applied Sciences. Okay, thank you. Please move on to the next slide. Here are some of the academic partners. So out of all these institutions that we own, we also have academic partners that we work with, namely Concordia University Chicago. We also have the Victoria University, which is in Melbourne, Australia, amongst others, including Webster University as well. Thank you. Next one. All right, so I would like to give you a brief overview of the Global University System leadership team, and which some of you are very familiar with. First of all, I will start with our CEO and charismatic leader, Mr. Aaron Ettingen, who is the founder of Global University Systems. So Aaron Ettingen is the CEO of GUS. He leads a team of over 5,000 employees, ensuring that innovation, creativity, and a strong commitment to high standards are embedded across the group. With a background in finance and banking sectors and a strong management credentials, he led GUS from a small business school with 4 students to a global organization of over 80,000 students, an alumni from over 175 countries, and a growing presence worldwide. His leadership is one of the key reasons behind our success in the company. Also, we have Mr. Max Ettingen, who is the VP of International of GUS. He is also very well known in the industry, because he leads the international team, who works closely with the partners, with the agents, supporting. And he's one of the person who is responsible for the growth of the group amongst various institutions globally. And finally, we have Julia Ettingen, who is the VP of Strategic Development. Julia works closely with Aaron to look after, development across the group, partnerships, and also acquisitions. And one of the last, achievements that she has is Trebas Institute, where she has worked closely with the president, Lisa Tanzi, to acquire the institution. Moving on to the next slide, please. So here is a brief overview of the Global University System Canada team, leadership team. I will start with Cindy McLeod, who needs no introduction in the industry in Canada. She has her footprints. She's very well known and has been, a great contributor in the education sector in Canada. Cindy has dedicated her career to building intercultural understanding through our international education. And as the CEO of GUS Canada, she has a responsibility for the group's expansions and operation in the country, which includes University Canada West, Language Gallery, Toronto School of Management, CCTB, and now finally Trebas Institute. We also have Ehsan Safdari, who is the Managing Director of GUS Colleges Canada, and he oversees all the colleges division, and as well as Bernardo Riveros, who is the Director of International Strategy in Latin America. And we also have Diana Mokute, the Director of Business Development and Partnerships, and myself as part of the Director for Business Development. Moving on to the next one. Thank you. Some of the awards that GUS have been achieving over the years, just to mention to you, GUS was awarded the Private Education Group of the Year, and also Education Investor Awards 2019 winner. One of the Brand Interactive Pro was finalist as an Education Business of the Year award. Moving on to the next one. GUS is very much involved and very dedicated into social responsibility, CSR programs. Namely, I'm going to read through some of the, part of which GUS is involved for social responsibility. We invest over £2 million in scholarships every year to support our students in achieving their goals and also their objectives. We also have the LSBF Hope Foundation, the Mamba Mentors for encouraging and developing entrepreneurship in Africa, MBA in carbon management, actively teaching vital sustainable values, free English language support for underprivileged communities, strong enterprise and CSR departments. And one of the last achievement is the Gus Cares, which is a Gus Canada initiative to make a substantial contribution to help all those impacted during COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you. Please move on to the next one. All right, so as we are joining today, before the president join us and give us an overview and an exclusive taster to our partners, to our dedicated global partners about Trebas Institute, I would like to introduce you the team of business development that have been put in place to support you and also to be available 24/7 to be able to achieve our goals, our common goals together. So there's myself, who leads the team, that's Director of Student Recruitment of Gus Canada Colleges. We also have an Associate Director who's going to be joining us very soon, and we will be, introducing in future webinars. And Sophia Augustine, who works with myself and the team as Recruitment Operations Administrator. We are located in various continents and various countries, and the team is based in Asia, Brazil, Latin America, Turkey, Russia, CIS and Europe, India, and the Middle East and North Africa. So let me introduce you the dream team, the amazing team that are working very hard to achieve those goals that we have commonly. Starting with Team Asia, we have Mrs. Sumi Yohama, who is our Associate Director in Japan. And we also have Yisol Sun, the Senior Business Development Manager for South Korea and local market. She also leads a team in the Asian market, namely Katie, who is based in Vietnam, and Piripa, who is our Business Development Executive for Southeast Asia and local market. Next slide, please. Hi. Yes, so we have Team Latam, which is led by Sol Herrera, the Senior Business Development Manager. And under her currently, we have Pamela, who is based in Mexico, and soon we will have someone joining us in Colombia as well. Also, we have Team Turkey, which is led by Ayşegül, and also we have Rafi. Ayşegül is based in Ankara, and Rafi is based in Istanbul. Team CIS Europe, Russia, Arkady, and Katerina are the ones who will be available to support you. Team India, we have 3 business developers, namely Sagar Girdar, who is the Senior Business Development Manager, and also Shuli and Sonali, who will be available to support all our network in India and South Asia. Okay, so now we have the team in the Middle East and North Africa, Mr. Alam Moheri, the Associate Regional Director for Iran, who oversees various institutions recruitment for Canada. As well in his team, we have Mr. Mir Safdari, who is based in Iran. As also we have Mohammed Faik, who is the Regional Director in the Middle East, overseeing recruitment in Morocco, for Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria. All right, so without any delay, so I will like to introduce the President of Trebas Institute, who will be giving us all the information that we need to know about Trebas, and also giving you more details about the upcoming, the vision, and the future developments as we launch Trebas into the market. Thank you very much for your time, and over to you, Luisa.
Thank you, Brian. Hello, everyone. First, I would like to take a moment to welcome you and also to thank you for taking the time to join us for this pre-launch webinar. Over the next while, you'll be listening to myself and Dominic go through this presentation. We will be happy to answer any questions you might have at the end. I'll begin with why study in Canada, in particular, Montreal, Quebec. So why Canada? 96% of international students recommend Canada as a study destination. A recent survey conducted by US News and World Reports ranked Canada the 3rd best country in the world for education and #1 in the world in 2020 for quality of life. Some of the metrics that were used for this study were affordability, economic stability, safety, well-developed public health system, and a well-developed public education system. Montreal in particular is arguably the most culturally diverse and vibrant city in Canada. It currently hosts approximately more than 32,000 international students a year. Next, please. Here are some of the reasons why I study in Montreal. Montreal offers affordable tuition fees. As a matter of fact, we are the most affordable international education destination in the Western world. We have low cost of living. Rent on average is 44% lower, and our cost of living index is 12.28% lower than Toronto. So basically, accommodation, food, transportation, day-to-day expenses, and other living costs are much lower in Montreal. Next, please. Montreal is also known as a charming city. It has the reputation of being the Europe of North America. Another point is that we are the only bilingual French and English speaking province in Canada. Students can pursue an education in both French and English, learn a new language, and study side by side with bilingual peers. Next, please. Montreal hosts every year a multitude of large-scale cultural and international events such as the Jazz Festival, Just for Laughs, Grand Prix, Osheaga, and the list goes on. Next. It is also recognized as the North American capital for foodies. Actually, Montreal is being named one of the world's 18 best foodie cities by Thrillist. Next, please. Our public system is world-class. Montreal has an extensive, clean, and safe public underground transportation system, which makes getting around the city fast and affordable. And most importantly, Trebas Institute is situated in the heart of downtown Montreal. Next. So now let me introduce you to Trebas Institute. Founded in 1979, Trebas has a rich heritage in the entertainment industry. We distinguish ourselves by our creative and supportive environment. We offer our students a unique combination of versatile programs, a human relation approach to services with exceptional quality of facilities, faculties, and staff. Excellence, commitment to students, innovation, respect for individual, diversity and inclusion are some of our values. We are also very pleased to announce that we are now launching a new logo along with a new website, which will be available soon to illustrate that we are now members of the Gus family. Next, please. So why study at Trebas? We are a trusted brand that has been around for 40+ years. Over the 40+ years, we have launched the careers of over 3,000 alumni who are highly respected in their industry. And actually, some have gone on to winning distinguished internationally recognized awards. Over all these years, we have also been able to have built strong partnerships with renowned industry experts such as Ubisoft, Steinberg, Cubase, Sun TV, Chorus Entertainment, Much Music, Cannes Film Festival, and the list goes on, giving our students and grads a competitive advantage. We have up-to-date, innovative, and cutting-edge curriculum and course content that are all accredited by the Ministère de l'Enseignement Supérieur. We only engage experienced and knowledgeable instructors who are active and experts in their fields. We offer our programs in both English and French. We have a strong commitment to diversity and inclusion with students from over 40 different countries. We provide lifetime career service guidance to our graduates and students. We have an innovative culture where we are committed to continuously developing new programs that will meet the market demands, and our programs are eligible to the postgraduate work permit, which more than 60% of international students plan to apply for permanent residence in Quebec and Canada. Next. Now I'll talk a little bit about our campus. Our campus includes recording studios, audio and filmmaking equipment, post-production studios, well-equipped classrooms, student lounge, and sign-out labs, and much more. All of this leading to a very fun and creative learning experience for our students. Once again, our campus is situated in the heart of Montreal, so we are surrounded by shops, restaurants, and entertainment venues. There is a subway station literally across the street from the campus. Next. We are also in close proximity to some of the most exciting places to visit in Montreal, such as Old Montreal, the oldest neighborhood in the city, established in 1642. Mount Royal, a mountain located right in the heart of downtown Montreal. St. Catherine Street, the shopping hub of Montreal. Musée des Beaux-Arts, one of Canada's most visited museums. Quartier des Spectacles, an outdoor public square built to host big festivals such as the Montreal Jazz Festival. And in addition, we are only 2 hours drive to Quebec City. We're a 1 hour flight or a 5 hour drive to Toronto and a 6 hour drive to New York City. So as you can see, we are very central to all the major cities. Now I'll hand it over to Dominic.
Thank you, Louisa. So let me talk about accreditation, memberships, and affiliation. So Trebas Institute is a private career college operating in Quebec. And of course, our programs are designed in-house, but they're all approved by the Ministère de l'Enseignement Supérieur. So everything we do here is accredited by the government here. So Trebas Institute is also a designated learning institution. So we do have a DLI number. The DLI is written right here on the slide. And we're also a member of the ACPNS. Next, thank you. Okay, so as far as student diversity goes, for now, our students are from 43 different countries. So if you look at the pie chart here, the big red section is Canada. Hopefully, and with your help, this will change. So we will have much more international students than actually local students, right? So this chart will change very shortly, hopefully. So we do have a career services department here. So all of our students can get any support, can get help from our career services department as far as finding jobs or finding finding internships. So they can come to the office at any time, meet someone, and they will receive help. And this service is free, and this is a lifetime service. So how does that work? So if you look at the little table here, we start with of course, with the program, and along the way, the career services department will be really active on a regular basis. So they will give a lot of support for job application process, networking events, guest speakers, and all that. But we also handle our own job fair within our premises here, for which this is very interesting because the employers and the students, they get to meet, and they can actually, the students can find a job right away here at school. We do have a lot of partners, as you can imagine, with over 40 years of experience. We met a lot of companies, and we sent our students to them. And so our partners, some of our partners are Ubisoft, the Sopranos. We will have like a major labels such as EMI, Universal, and also local businesses are part of our partnership program. So now let's talk about the programs. So for the international market right now, there's two programs that we want to promote. One is e-commerce and online business management, while the second one is audio and video post-production. So let's start with the first one, e-commerce and online business management. Thank you. So the duration of this program is 24 months for a total of 1,110 hours. The next intake is January 25th, 2021. So there are plenty of career opportunities with this program. We talk about digital marketing consultant, digital marketing manager, digital account manager, social media manager, advertising consultant, marketing director, e-commerce consultant, online store manager, and so on. The beauty with this program is that the student will not only learn how to manage a website or how to manage a transactional website, but also how to manage the business behind it, right? So the student learns how to start a business, how to do accounting, how to do promotion, and e-commerce and business laws. All this is part of this program. So it's much more than just handling a website. Next slide, please. So throughout this program, the student will develop some of the following skills and competencies: successfully start and run an online business, develop, plan, and execute a comprehensive online marketing plan, set up and run an online store, analyze financial business data, set up and manage an online customer service system, etc. So there's a lot of skills within the 2 years program. So let's talk about the first term. The first term, which we also call semester, is a 15 weeks long. So all of our semesters are based on a 15-week system, and the student for the first term will be at school for 16 hours a week in average. So there are 4 classes: starting an online business for 60 hours long, introduction to digital marketing, business auditing and reporting, as well as introduction to accounting. The second term, which is 15 hours a week, is the students would come to school for 15 hours a week, and social media management is one of the course. Sales and marketing representation strategies, understanding spreadsheets and their application, as well as online customer service. As you can see on the presentation, the description of each and every classes is written, so you can easily find it after it's part of the handouts here. So for the third term, the courses would be online promotion and digital advertising, online accounting software, digital business law, sales force management, for an average of 14 hours a week in school. For the fourth term, the courses are international trade in the digital era, business data and market research, business and sales presentations, and promoting an online store for 15 hours a week. And this leads to the last and final term, which is 14 weeks. 15 weeks, but 14 hours a week. And there are 2 things. So the first one is an actual course called Creating an Online Marketing Plan for 75 hours, and also an internship for 135 hours. So usually the students, they would find internship by themselves with the support of our career services department that will lead them and guide them and help them with CV, resume writing, and all that. And now let's switch to the next program. So then the very next program is audio and video post production, 24 months and 1,110 hours long. It's the same duration. The next intake is January 25th, 2021. And the career options here are video editor, assistant editor, sound editor, post-production supervisor, post-supervisor, Foley artist, color correction and grading artist, and a digital overlay graphic designer. This program is 24 months long, 5 terms, 15 weeks per program, as just like the first program. And the skills and competencies here, just to name a few, it's achieve high proficiency in all of the key software programs, successfully navigate the post-production industry, record and edit sound for video, analyze the various shots, lighting, and all that, right? So the students will be, at the end of this program, the students will be able to do a complete post-production for a film, the audio part as well as the video part. So for the first term, the students will be in school for an average of 12 hours a week. The courses are the post-production industry, which is an overview of this whole industry, introduction to the digital environment in post-production, sound recording and Foley, introduction to post-production. For the second term, the student, can you change the slide, please? Thank you. For the second term, the students will be in school for an average of 14 hours a week. And the courses are history of cinema and television, cinematography in post-production, 2D graphic elements, and post-production 1, which is about advertisements. for a total of 14 hours a week. The third term, the courses are music in video practical analysis, automatic dialogue replacement, what we call ADR, post-sync, credits production, and post-production 2, which is about a news report. For the fourth term, the courses are 3D animation, compositing, color correction and grading, post-production 3, which is about documentaries, and the students will be in school for about 19 hours a week. This is the longest one for this program. Now, for the fifth term, there is no internship in this program, but there are more courses. So the courses are sound mixing and editing, digital overlay graphic design, motion graphic design, post-production 4, which is about short film. So now, Louisa.
Thank you, Dominic. So now I'll talk about what our admission requirements are. So set out by the provisions of Section 4 of the College Education Regulation, the student must meet one of these following conditions. They must be out of full-time studies for at least one school year. Now in Quebec, the school year ends in grade 11, but a grade 12 diploma or equivalent from a different country is also accepted. They have an agreement between the college and an employer or by a government program of studies. They have interrupted full-time studies for one term and pursued full-time post-secondary studies for one term, or they hold a DVS, a Diploma of Vocational Studies, or in French, a DEP. Along with one of these conditions, the person must, of course, have English or French proficiency to follow the program. Next slide, please. Documents that are required for admissions. So we require the completed application form, a non-refundable fee of $50 and admissions fee of $200. We need a valid passport, a birth certificate certified copy. Now again, if the person is unable to provide a birth certificate from their country, we will require them to fill out a form with the necessary information, which they will then need to get certified. We also need a recent academic transcript or diploma, and if it is not issued inside of Quebec, so outside of Quebec, it must be certified. It must be a certified copy or the original. And if it's also not in English or in French, it must be accompanied by an official translation. And lastly, we need verification of English or French language proficiency, which we'll describe more on pages 55 and 56. Next, please. So now let me go through the application process. The first step is to fill out the application form, submit all the required documents, and pay the $250 admission and registration fee. At that point, we will issue a letter of admission. With this letter, the student will be able to apply for the CAQ, the Quebec Acceptance Letter, and they can also start their application for the Canada Study Permit. Also, because our programs have internships, they will need to apply for a work permit. And then finally, they will also need to obtain medical insurance. Once all is finalized, they will enroll and start in their classes. Back to you, Dominic.
Thank you, Louisa. Next slide, please. Can we get the next slide, please? Okay, so proof of English, this is some requirement. There are different tests available out there. So International English Language Testing System, IELTS, requirements are 5.5. Test of English as a foreign language, 55. Cambridge English Language Assessment, 162. Canadian Academic English Language, 40. PT Academic, 42. And Duolingo, 85. We do have also requirements for French. So this is the next slide, please. So for French, le diplôme approfondi de langue française, le test d'évaluation du français adapté pour le Québec et le test de connaissance du français pour le Québec, all of them are level B1. So now I will let Louisa explain this slide.
So what do we do when a student doesn't have proof of English? So Trebas Institute has a pathway agreement with the Learning Gallery, or TLG. What does this mean? If the student doesn't have the English requirements, they can sign up for TLG Live and provide Trebas with the confirmation of application to the pathway program. They will be tested by TLG, and according to their level of English, TLG will recommend how many weeks of English as a second language course the student will need to achieve to get to a level 4. With this confirmation of application, students will receive a conditional letter of admission from Trebas. After completing TLG Live and successfully reaching a level 4, we will issue the letter of admission. For more information, I strongly recommend that you go onto TLG and see what courses they have. So their website is www.livetlg.com. Next, please. For French courses, we don't yet have a pathway agreement with a French language school, but the government of Quebec offers plenty of free online courses. So once the student obtains their CAQ, they will have access to online courses that will allow them to improve their French at their own pace and in their own country before immigrating to Quebec. So please refer to this link for more information. And of course, once they arrive in Quebec, they will have plenty of opportunity to practice their French with the locals because everybody in Quebec is bilingual. Next. So let me talk about our tuition. First, we are very excited to announce a scholarship totaling $4,000 that is exclusively available to our partners. This is valid until December 31st, 2020, so please make sure to take advantage of this on behalf of your international students. So our e-commerce and online business management program is published at $14,000 annual with a scholarship of $2,000, which totals $12,000 tuition per year and $24,000 for the full 2-year program. Our audio and video post-production program is published at $16,000 annual with a scholarship of $2,000, which totals $14,000 annual and $28,000 for the full 2-year program. We offer one payment plan, 50% on the first day of classes, so $12,000 for the e-commerce and online business management, or $14,000 for the audio and video post-production. The remaining 50% is paid in the 3rd term, which is a little more than halfway through their studies or in the 2nd year. Next, please. For our payment options, we accept all credit cards, debit, cash, e-transfers, wire transfers, money orders, certified checks, and/or bank drafts. And once again, back to you, Dominic.
Thank you, Louisa. So let's talk a little bit about the study permit and accommodation here. So study permit and visa. So international students are required to obtain a CAQ by Immigration Quebec. There's a direct link here if you click on the Ministère de l'Immigration, de la Diversité et de l'Inclusion. You can also visit Citizenship and Immigration Canada at cic.gc.ca for more information. A student must be in good health and willing to complete a medical examination if necessary. The student must have no criminal record and not be a security risk to Canada. Students must satisfy an immigration officer that they will leave Canada upon completion of their studies. And also they must prove that they have enough money to pay for their tuition fees, accommodation, living expenses, and of course, return transportation. Next slide, please. So the students are allowed to work 20 hours a week during their studies and full-time during scheduled breaks. To be eligible, the current students must have a valid study permit, be a full-time student, and be in satisfactory academic standing as well. The key visa considerations here. Regarding academic, students must meet academic and English or French language criteria to follow intended program. And the financial criteria, students must have proof of unencumbered available funds to cover tuition and living expenses. And students can prove they have sufficient funds with different options. They're all written here. But just to name a few, bank statements for the past 3 to 6 months, pay slips, as well as proof of Canadian bank account, etc. Again, there's a link if you need more information on cic.gc.ca. So regarding accommodations, the students, there are many options for them. So they can live off campus with other students or on their own. Again, quite often what happens, students, they bundle up, they find an apartment. Montreal cost of living is pretty low. So this is affordable to rent an apartment here in Montreal. And the students can always contact our student services department at studentservices@trebas.com should they need any support or any help with that. So here are some questions that are frequently asked. What is the exact cost of living in Montreal? There's a link. You can find plenty of information following this link here, but a single person monthly cost is just a little over $1,000 a month without the rent. So as I mentioned earlier, this is pretty affordable. How easy and difficult is it for an English-speaking individual to find a student job in a restaurant or a coffee shop in Montreal? There are plenty of international students here in Montreal, and a lot of them are English speakers, and they can find jobs. There's no problem at all. The minimum wage in Quebec is $12.50 per hour. Can a student do an internship outside of Montreal? This is not possible because internship is on the last semester of the program, and the student will have to be here anyway because he has to go to class. So there's one class and the internship, and this is the only way the students can achieve this. Is it mandatory for the students to do the internship in his or her field of study? Of course it is, because the objective of the internship is to put into practice the skills acquired throughout the program to assess and grade them. Next slide, please. What is our policy regarding late arrivals? Late arrivals are accepted until the third week of the semester for which the student is registered. If the parent of a child comes to study at Trebas, will or his children have free access to school? And what age can a child access primary school? So in Quebec's public school system, preschool, primary, and secondary education, there are no fees for children of individuals legally residing in Quebec. School attendance is even mandatory for all children between the age of 6 and 16. What is a typical schedule for a student? Our courses are offered during the day and in the evening, depending on the semesters. The duration of a semester is 15 weeks long, and students can spend an average of 15 hours a week at school over a 3-day period. Summertime vacations, Christmas holiday weeks, and other breaks are scheduled to allow international students to return home. The academic schedule is provided to all students during our orientation day. Next slide, please. So now it's the question period. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dominique.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much, Brian, Louisa. Thank you, our dear partners, for all your questions. I tried my best to reply on most of them during the webinar. And now we can go ahead and start answering some of those questions live. So please be sure you type your questions into the question box in your control panel.
Yeah. While we're getting the questions ready, I just want to add a few words to our partners, because I can see there's quite a few of you joining us today. So thank you very much. We at Global University Systems, we understand the needs of the partners, of the agents, and we strive to support you, and our dedicated team will be available to support you when we, in the coming weeks with the launch of the of Trebas Institute. You should be expecting, some of you who are already working with us with some of the institutions in Canada, you should be expecting an invitation to be partnering with us, with an agreement already being prepared to be sent to you. If you're not part of the if you're not part of the institution working with Canada at the moment, please reach out to myself, as I've shared my email, or the partners@trebas.com email, to make sure that we assign you someone to be assisting and supporting you. We also know that you guys want to have a very fast service in those challenging times as well, to make sure that the admission is 24 hours turnaround time, and making sure that you guys get paid for your commissions on time as well. So rest assured that we are here to deliver the service. And I myself have worked with two of the institutions in Canada already previously, and when they started, University Canada West, Toronto School of Management. So I'm proud to be part of this project with Montreal, and very much looking forward to working with you closely. So please go ahead, Sophia, and share questions.
Thank you so much, Brian. So just a friendly reminder that you can download the presentation anytime on the right side under the handouts. You can just download it, and we will also share the recording after the webinar. Okay, so let's start with the questions. We got a lot of questions, which is amazing.
Okay.
So I see we have a question from Faisal asking about our application fee. This question I can answer myself. The application fee will be 250 Canadian dollars. We got this question a few times. The second question we have is about postgraduate work permit, whether the students will be eligible for it, and whether their spouse is going to be eligible for open work permit. So Brian, if you can take over this question.
Of course, yes. So the two main programs that we have shared today, who are for a total duration of 1,110 hours, and which is on average 2 years, will be eligible. So the students will be eligible for postgraduate work permit upon completion of those programs. And the dependents, of course, in Montreal, they will be eligible to apply for open work permit, as well as their children in the school for the schooling, they will be obtaining free schooling. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any more questions. Shall we invite Risa and Dominique as well to join us in case there are any academic questions or any related?
Yes, please.
Please go ahead.
Perfect, thank you. So our next question we received from Mitzi. Do you offer payment plans, or do the student have to pay the total amount of the program before they start? So Brian, can you take over this?
Oh, so students are requested to pay, the first year tuition fee. For example, the the e-commerce and online business management is $12,000 for year one. So they're requested to pay at least the full year duration of tuition fee. However, in some markets, please reach out to your business developers. We are coming up with payment plans. We understand students, need financial commitment as well. We want to support them. So we will be coming up with payment plans as we go along. But for now, this is what the requirement is. The first year tuition fee is required, and of the second year, they pay the remaining 50% of the tuition fee.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Brian. And thank you so much for sending all the questions. We will go to the next one we received from Sandra. She's asking what would be the type of diploma students to get at the end of the program. So Dominique, if you can take over.
Yeah, the diploma is called Attestation of College Studies.
Perfect. And we got another question about the IELTS requirement. If you can go through this again.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Dominique. Yeah.
Sure. No, it's okay. Well, the IELTS requirement is set at 5.5. This is like minimal, so it's pretty open and easy to reach to most students.
Perfect.
Yes, and I just would like to add for South Asia, in particular India, for SDS program application, we will be taking an overall of 6.0 with a minimum of 1 band at 5.5. So just to clarify, this is applicable for India. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you, Brian. We got another question from Poonam. What is the scholarship requirements? Brian or Dominique, if you can take over this one.
At the moment, as we said, as Lisa rightly mentioned, it's an inclusive scholarship that we're offering to our partners. This is not going to be published on the website, so we want to make sure that our partners are supported to launch Trebas together with us. So until December, there won't be any requirement in particular. As long as the students meet the admissions requirement, they will be entitled for the scholarship, and they will be awarded, say, the $2,000 or up to $4,000 scholarship until 31st of December. So as we go along and as we grow, there might be criteria and limited amount, but for now, it's for everybody. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Brian. So we have one more question from Jen. She's wondering what is the amount of the initial deposit and if their initial deposit amount they need to pay prior to getting their LOA. So what would be the price they need to pay?
So Luisa, shall you take over and answer this one?
So there's no real initial deposit. We just require the $250 admissions fee to get an LOA. Of course, we do recognize that some of the countries' immigration require the students to make some sort of payment towards their tuition fee, which we accept, but we do not require an initial deposit. We require 50% of the tuition paid on the first day of school.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Luisa. So we got another question from Gurleen. He's asking whether the courses are considered undergraduate or postgraduate level. Dominique?
Yeah, this is college level, so this is not university. So I guess this is considered more like undergraduate.
Perfect, thank you. We got another question from Priyanka. She's asking if all the programs have 900 hours or more.
Can you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
Priyanka is asking if all the programs are 900 hours or more for PGWP eligibility.
Right now, we only have those two programs that are over 900 hours for now.
Amazing. We have another question from Gurleen. He's asking how many intakes there is in a year. Brian, if you can explain.
Yes, sorry, I was muted. My apologies. Yes, we have 4 intakes for the year, and now we're currently recruiting for the January 2021 intake. The following one will be in April, July, and September, respectively. So 4 intakes for you to be able to recruit students, which is quite flexible, so they can join the next one should they miss one of them.
Amazing. Okay, let's go to the next question. Sorry, guys, 1 second.
No problem.
So we have more questions about the admission requirements. Maybe we should go to the slide again and just cover it quickly if anyone has any other questions. And Kita, if you can please take us to the slide. And while we get to the slide, the question about the application fee of 50 Canadian dollars and registration fee of 200 Canadian dollars, is it non-refundable?
Yes, it's non-refundable. Please take us to the admissions requirements slide, Ankita.
We had many slides. I think she's just looking for it. 1 second.
Yeah.
And just a quick reminder that the slides are downloadable anytime. You can open it right now on the right side in the control panel. You can download it under the handout section. And after the webinar, we will share the recording with everyone. It's going to be an automated email, so you will definitely get it. Thank you. And we're on the admission requirements slide. Dominique, if you can please cover it quickly.
I will ask Luisa to cover it because she did already.
Oh, okay.
I covered it.
Other parts.
So
Thank you.
is there a specific question, or did you want me to just go over this thing
Just go
again?
through it again if you can. People are asking about the general admission requirements.
Okay, very good. So basically, these admission, we have to meet one of these following criterias, and one of them is that the student must be out of school for at least 1 year. I think there's a little bit of confusion on this one is because in Quebec, our school ends in grade 11, whereas a lot of the different countries or different provinces in Quebec, in Canada, they go to grade 12. So if we have a grade 12 diploma or equivalent, it's okay, we can accept them. Another condition, it has to be an agreement between the college and an employer here in Quebec or by a government program of studies. So I don't really think this applies to much international students. The third condition, they have to have interrupted full-time studies for 1 term and pursued full-time post-secondary studies for 1 term. Again, this doesn't really apply to international students. And the fourth condition, they have to hold a DVS, a Diploma of Vocational Studies. So if a student did come here to Quebec and went through a DOP or a DVS, then they will be entitled to come into our program. So, and along with one of these 4 conditions, they have to have, of course, their English or French proficiency for the language, the program they want to follow. Does that clear it a bit for everybody? Or?
Yes, I think so. Thank you so much, Luisa. Okay, so we got 2 more minutes left. Let's cover one last question we have from Ravi. Hello, Ravi. Is the internship paid? And also, what help will be provided by Trebas to students to arrange the internship? So Dominique, if you can take over this one.
Yeah. So here in Quebec, employers they get to decide if they want to pay or not for an internship. So there's no rules or laws about it. So some students would find paid internships, and some would find like more on a voluntary base internship. And what was there was another part.
What support will Trebas offer to the students for their internship?
Yeah, so we do have a career services department, and the staff in this department are helping students finding opportunities, whether it's jobs or internship, and help them prepare for that, because most of the internship students would have to go and prepare for an interview and bring a resume and all that. So we set them up, we make sure that they're ready to for the interview, and they're ready to get the internship of their dream.
Yeah, so if I can add to that, we do have support from career services from the beginning of their program till the end. So we have workshops, we teach them how to present themselves, how to put their CV together, how to put up a LinkedIn account, how to Facebook. So a huge support in the career services for them to be prepared for not just their internship, but afterwards to get a job here in Quebec.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Luisa and Dominique. So it's already past 1 hour. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would want to cover before wrap up? Luisa, Dominique, Brian?
Well, once again, I just want to say thank you very much for everybody for joining us. As we mentioned, this is an exclusive pre-launch. There will be more updates, frequent answered questions will be shared to all of you. Our dedicated team will be available to support and assist you with more questions. We're looking forward to working with you together for 2021 intakes. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
and
you,
we are
everybody.
available on partners@trebas.com. We're always available. I will be answering your questions or referring it to the right business developer to assist further. And you can download the presentation, another reminder. And I think we're all good. Anything else to add, guys? Thank you so much again. Thank you everyone
everybody.
for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So much.